metaphorical gin and tonic watching the sunset. That's boring for me personally. Happiness for me is a direction, it's a dynamic process. It's being on target towards something that you want to do or you want to accomplish. It's not a fixed intention like, right, I'm going to kill somebody now and I'm going to do this and I'm locked into this idea. But it's a purpose, and we all came here with a purpose. And when we're on that purpose line, then it no longer feels like work, it feels like a joy. And so, sure, our bodies get tired. We talked to David Icke yesterday and he was absolutely exhausted. But he was also joyful in the job that he does, because he's somebody who's been woken up to doing what it was that he came here to do. And what you and I can do, and what I think is happening in this movement that we call the ground crew, is that people are on the way to realizing something that they want to do. In the ground crew meeting here in Zurich that we'll be having in a week's time, it's not about organizing people. It's about inspiring people to say, okay, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but what do you want to do? And if you want to organize a food co-op, then who else wants to help this person? Who's enthusiastic? The person whose hand goes up really quickly, they're the guy who should help this person. It's not about organizing people into a kind of militant army. It's about allowing oneself to understand what it is that one is really here to do. And that process of understanding, I think, is part of the awakening process that you asked Ruth about, that there is an awakening process happening. I don't understand it, but it is happening. Everyone we speak to, everyone we meet when we're traveling, everyone we talk to who's also been traveling and who reports back from conferences that they've been to, this phenomenon is happening like a wave. And there's a wave of the expansion of consciousness. And again, I totally agree with David Icke's representation of this, that the powers that be are really, really worried about this, because otherwise they wouldn't have to lock down on us so hard. This is why they've got to microchip us or control us or prevent us from traveling or prevent us from communicating or eavesdrop on our conversations or try and put something in our bodies through a needle that's going to compromise the effectiveness of this vehicle that we're all dependent on here in this reality to move around. They have to do that. They have to do all of those things because they've got no other power. And what does that tell us about the limitation of the box that they're in? And I just love the way that David Icke characterizes that. And for me, that says, okay, I agree with him that it may get complicated, it may get really interesting, it may get more difficult. We may have all kinds of problems that we haven't encountered so far in our lives up to this point. But another story that David Icke told in his lecture, in his presentation, was how he was told by a channel 19 years ago that one of the many things that will happen as this wave of consciousness grows is that we need to organize ourselves into groups, because together we will be stronger. On a logistical, practical level, we have to form communities. We need to form collectives which are able to handle things logistically, simply because here on planet Earth we're dependent on keeping our bodies alive. We need food, we need water, we need heat, we need shelter, we need protection. We don't need to have needles inside us. We don't need to have things which are sprayed in the atmosphere through chemtrails. There's a whole thing going on. Electronically, our minds are influenced. On a physical level, our bodies are compromised, and there are ways together that we can support ourselves here. There are antidotes to all of these things. There are technological ways that we can shield ourselves from this, and we need to help each other when the pressure really starts to crank up. And everyone that we know says it's going to get worse before it gets better, and I would agree with that. I don't know how bad it's going to be. I don't know what the timeline's going to be. I think it's going to get tricky. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the human race. I think it's the most amazing training course, and I think it's quite tough. And at the end of all of this, there's going to be something which we emerge into, which will be a wonderful new start for the human race. But between now and then, and I don't know how long it's going to be, I don't know whether it's 2 years or 3 years or 10 years, but after that, I think that we will have emerged from all of this, and there's going to be a fantastic recovery process. I want to be around to see that happen, because that really sounds like fun to me. Last night we were talking to Bill Deagle, who was saying that he thought the timescale might extend to 2019. He doesn't buy the 2012 stuff either. But between now and then, there may be a lot of things to handle.
I must say, just going back to everybody has to find what it is they came here to do, and like I say, certain things will come to them and they go, yes, I want to do that. That's exactly what happened when I started watching Project Camelot. I'm not joking, and I've said this before to Kerry, that I lost weeks of my life. And with that, I knew what I had to do. I came to the conference that you were at, it was the 1st of August in Amsterdam. Spoke to you, like I think my husband said to you, what is it, how do you do what you do? And he had quite an emotional conversation with you. And with that, at that conference, we knew exactly what it was we had to do. I had media experience, and I thought, all right, I know that this is something that I could happily go into. I'm not going to worry about money. I'm not going to worry about how much money I'm going to make, my big house. I'm just going to go do it, because I feel that there's nothing in the world I'd rather do more. And I still feel that way, in spite of the various things that have happened to us, and our information being confiscated by the powers that be, or whoever it was, at various points. I think it's very important for people to wake up and realise that we all have a part to play, and they need to figure out what it is, why they came here, and what it is they chose to do when they came here, and why aren't they doing it,
Yeah. If you jump off the cliff, the angels will always catch you, but you'll never know until you jump.
Yes, very true. And they have caught us. We've been very, very blessed.
Absolutely. So it's got something to do with trust, it's got something to do with courage, it's got something to do with daring to believe that you can be all you can be. I mean, I don't want to sound like an American military commander here, but actually, before I entered this phase of my life where I was working 24/7 on Project Camelot, I was a team building specialist, personal development specialist. I've got outdoor experience. I used to take people up in the mountains. I started off my career when I was 21, 22 years old in outward bound schools, which is all, it's what in the older paradigm, the English stiff upper lip military language would have called character training, But what it really is, it's about a playground in which no harm is going to come to anyone, but there's the opportunity for people to learn what they really can do. I used to work with delinquent kids. We used to go abseiling, rappelling off cliffs, and we used to go into the mountains and camping. And they had transformational experiences because they never realized that they could do any of this stuff. People can do anything. People can do so much more than they are permitted to know.